Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Billy Kaylor Show, where we cover everything on the Black Coal with the Chuckey-Doak Black Knights football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Billy Kaylor. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Weather's feeling a little better now.
A little better.
It's probably getting a little cool.
That feels good. I like it.
You're used to South Carolina and Georgia, so
46 this morning. Left the house. I like it.
yeah. I took the dogs out late last night. And I about had to put a jacket on.
I wore a hoodie this morning. I like having to wear a jacket. I'm cool with it.
I'm sure you like hoodie weather. Hoodie weather for you is a lot different than hoodie weather here.
Yeah, well, it's a heck of a lot better than 100. So
That's true. Anything's better than 100. But let's talk about some football. I know Friday night had your first home game here in Lower Afton.
Yep.
Took on the West Greene Buffaloes, county rival. Didn't go the way that you wanted it to on Friday night. Ended up playing a hard-fought game with them, down 13-0. Fought back to tie the game going into the half, and then gave up 14 in the second half and fell by the wayside. But take me through that game on Friday night. Take me through the beginning to the end. I know kind of low start, high point during the first half, and then a low second half. Just take me through it all and take me through your emotions.
Oh, we didn't play very well, particularly on offense. Did some pretty decent things on defense. You look at 27 points they scored, and look at some of the deep balls they hit, and we're in phase as a defensive back every time. We just got to play through the hands, and we're a step away with some of those young guys from being really pretty decent in the back end, even though it doesn't always feel like it. Offensively, man, we were just super penalized. I don't know that I've ever been a part of a team that's been that penalized in a game, so that was really disappointing. And then top it off, we didn't play well. And I told the guys for the game, it's a good football team. They get a taste of blood in the water, they're going to swarm. And while we did some good things, they did that. They swarmed and we misstepped. And I think on their first scoring drive, we gave them 35 of their 50 yards. And I think we were penalized 7 of the first 9 plays. And it's really hard to win a football game when you do that. That's
one of the things that I talked about with Coach Monroe earlier this week. I'm going to tell you the same thing. If this is in my notes, but if you would like to talk about it, you can. If you would not like to, then you don't have to. But it was a penalty fest on Friday night, it seemed like, because I think the final line that we got was 25 penalties for 229 yards combined through both teams. And it was the same for both sides, but it just seemed like it was a penalty fest on Friday night, and you really couldn't have a flow of the game on either side.
Yeah, anytime you hurt yourself that much on offense particularly, it's hard to get much of a flow, and we've got to be more disciplined. A lot of those penalties were self-inflicted. They were legitimate. Some of them, there's always some missed calls and some that called that shouldn't have been. That always happens, but most of them were legitimate. And you give up 200-something yards to penalties, and it's hard to win.
Take me through some of the bright spots from the game also, because we look at the stats. You were able to produce 175 yards of offense, which a lot of times isn't going to win you a football game, but allowing a team to only 27 will. Your defense did a great job. The lowest amount of points that you've held a team through the first 3 weeks of the season. So take me through some of the bright spots and the things you were happy with in that game.
Like I said, a front 7 on defense I was fairly happy with for the most part. Did a lot better job. They've really improved through the course of 3 games. We gave up some explosive plays on the edge in the deep balls, but like I said, we're in phase. We just got to continue to let those young kids grow and learn to play through the football there. Obviously, Dominique Atchison had a big run for a touchdown. It was really exciting. So we did some decent things. We were in decent shape some in the past game. We just couldn't connect. So there's some bright spots, but overall it was really just a frustrating night.
And then you talked about Dom right there with the 82-yard rushing touchdown where he just takes it upfield and nobody can catch him. We've talked about how explosive he is. He got that first score on the board to cut your deficit 13-7, and then the tying touchdown came from Gage Hill, a 17-yard touchdown that sent you into halftime tied 13-13. Wanted to talk about both of those, but I think one thing that we need to discuss before we talk about Gage's performance is Gage's health also. We hear he's doing better. Of course, a scary scene on Friday night. Anytime the EMS comes out on the field, it's a scary scene where everybody holds their breath and prayers are sent up. And luckily, the man upstairs heard those prayers, and he does look like he's going to make a full recovery, and he's going to nurse himself back to full health.
Yeah. Good Lord looked after him, and luckily it was something we can heal from, and he's got still got some time, before he's going to be able to play for us again, which is a hurt to us. He's a great player and a great kid, man. He's made huge strides as a leader, and really proud of the work he's done as a young man. So we'll miss him on the field for a while. But he's going to make a full recovery, which is really good.
And then his performance on Friday night also, he had that touchdown. He had a play, I guess, we can dive into that you could call kind of controversial with that fumble.
There was one on both sides. We had one that was a fumble that they blew dead at forward progress. It should have been a fumble that West Greene recovered. Gage is a great player. He plays hard, and he did a good job forcing both sides of the ball for the injury. Obviously, that injury takes some wind out of the sails of the whole team because it's certainly an emotional thing to see one of your brothers get hauled off in an ambulance. I've seen it as a player and as a coach, and it's a hard thing to process every time. So that took some wind out of our sails. But, Gage played well. Roper played well until he got hurt. And even then tried to play hurt, and then finally had to pull the plug on him. But, we're going to miss those guys for a while. They're two really good players.
And if there's anything that we saw last year, like you talked about in the Unaka game, it doesn't matter what type of injury Hayden has. He's going to try to play through it because he's just that type of player and has that type of mentality.
That's right. We came out of our practice day, he's got a cast on his hand, and he came out in pads wanting to go. And I'm like, dude, can't go yet, bud.
Yeah.
So both those kids want to play, and Dominique as well. So it's a hard loss in general, but you add those injuries on top of it, makes it even a little tougher to swallow. But we had a good day today. Kids are bouncing back well.
And you move into another important county game also. Another county game that also doubles as a non-region game.
Yep.
You don't get into region play until next week when you open it up with Pigeon Forge. You get another county game out of the way with South Greene. You travel over there this time playing South Greene for the first time under the lights because last year the only light out was the sunlight, and it was directly above us because it was very early in the morning. But you get to kick off against South Greene on Friday night. It's weird to say that you didn't play on Friday night last year because Mother Nature had different plans. But before we do that, we need to get a word from our sponsors in first. So stay tuned, and we'll cover the South Greene game right after this break here on Grassroots Media.
At Corner Pond, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pond can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pond is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pond help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee.
Pizza Inn's new Right Way Buffet is open and ready for you and your family. Now with new garlic buttery crust and stuffed crust pizza, along with salads and desserts. It's the best part of your day. The all-day, everyday buffet. Only at Pizza Inn Greenville.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Billy Kaylor Show, where we cover everything in Lower Afton with the Chuckey-Doak Black Knights football team. As always, I'm joined here with Black Knights head coach Billy Kaylor. So you get back-to-back county games. Of course, it was like that last year, too. This is the second year in the scheduling block. You hosted West Greene. Now you travel up to Rebel Hill on the south side of the county to face South Greene. Another important county game, another fun county game, which, of course, the Milk Can game with West Greene and South Greene, I think, is the one that a lot of people look forward to because it has a trophy involved. But historically, over the last few years, I think Chuckey-Doak and South Greene have had two of the best teams in the county and have put on two of the best showings each year and have produced some fantastic games. Looking forward to that again this year. I think we're in for another treat on Friday night once you all and the Rebels take the field. What can you expect on Friday night against the Rebels?
I mean, they're a good football team. Obviously they're very talented at multiple positions. A quarterback, running back. They got some receivers that can play. So they're a really good football team. They've done some really good things this far. Played a good Crockett team tight and beat Gap last week. So we're gonna have to stop 4. That kid is a very talented runner. So at the same time, we got to, their quarterback can spin a little bit, so we got to make sure that we're sound defensively. Offensively, we've just got to be more consistent up front. We've got to, minimize how much we're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, particularly at running back, but a quarterback as well, and solidify our pass blocking a little bit, and then see if we can't generate some consistent positive movement offensively.
Coming off of the West Greene game, too, you go from one county game to another. We talked about it last week. County games are games that everybody gets up for. You don't need any type of extra motivation when you go into a county game, whether it's the bitterness of losing one last year or the fact that you're playing against some people that you might have grown up with or gone to school with or played against in pee-wees, wee-wees, midgets, and everything throughout their careers so far. So everybody gets up for county games, but I think the question that I was going into is, how do you respond after the West Greene game? Because the West Greene game, like you said, you didn't play well across the board in that game, and you want to come back and respond with a great showing against the Rebels. So how do you plan on responding in this game against South Greene?
We told the kids today we were kind of at an inflection point for us. We've lost 2 in a row there. One we felt like played okay at times against Granger. Really felt like Friday night was not our best showing. So then what do we do from there? I think we had a really good day today. I kind of challenged them, dive in today and let's focus on what we can do best to beat South Greene, which is be the best version of ourselves. There's a lot of stuff to worry about, but at the end of the day, you don't take care of yourself, you probably don't have a big shot of winning. And I thought we had a good day today, a lot of focus, and kids did well. So hopefully we got some of these young guys going to have to step up with some of the injuries we've had, and they'll continue to dial in, and we'll have a good week of practice and see if we can give our best swing to the Rebels.
I know you alluded to their offense a little bit, talking about Ford and Nash Schrader. That's a player that you're going to have to stop. They're a team that also kind of has a few new faces on offense. A lot of their receiving core is a lot different, but you know what you're going to get at the quarterback and running back position with Jacob Susong and Nash Schrader. Same coaching staff, same offense, same defense. You know what you're going against when you play the Rebels on Friday night. So talk about some of the schemes and how you plan on forming a formation against those and kind of scouting them out.
Well, they're going to be a 3-4, and they're going to walk down if you give them an H or something like that. They gave us a lot of that last year. So they're sound defensively. They're good in the back end. They're good in the front seven. So they're athletic. They're long. So we're going to have to play well up front, and try to put them in a bind where we can. But like I said, the biggest thing it's going to be for us is consistency up front. Mm-hmm. Can we generate positive movement on the line of scrimmage and not put ourselves – we can't allow them to force us out of what we want to do. And if we can do that up front, then we got a chance to be successful. We got enough athletes back there. We got a chance to be successful. Defensively, we got to be sound and we got to hem up, quarterback and running back.
And I know this would be a perfect bounce-back game going into region play, as we talked about, where
it's a really good
you
football
play.
Team.
Yes, it is. You play 2 county teams back-to-back in West Greene and South Greene. The West Greene game didn't go the way you wanted it to. It would be a perfect game to bounce back against South Greene and propel yourself into region play with Pigeon Forge. So how important of a confidence booster would you think it would be for those kids if they were able to knock off South Greene after the way that they played?
Be huge. I mean, South Greene's a really good football team. They're going to compete probably for a region championship in their region. They're year in, year out, Coach Jones and they do a great job. They're a very talented football team. They're very well coached. And it's a rivalry, no doubt. So it would be a huge shot in the arm for our team going into region play with Pigeon Forge and Cobb County to beat these guys. The good thing about playing a team like that is, there's no walkovers around here, South Greene is certainly not a walkover team.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go play, give them our best swing. And that's, as a coach, that's what you want. You want to go in and you play your best game and they play their best game and let's see what happens. That's fun to watch for a fan. It's fun to coach in. You just, want to give your kids the best chance to win, put them in the best position you can. And you can't take anything for granted against good football teams, and we're certainly not going to.
And against South Greene also, as always, what are your 3 keys to the game when you take on the Rebels on Rebel Hill on Friday night?
Control the line of scrimmage, protect the football, and be more disciplined. We control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. I like our chances every week. We don't turn the ball over. That's a really the more you turn the ball over, higher chances.
The more opportunities you're giving them.
More opportunities you give them, more opportunities you take away from yourself. And then obviously we can't 200-something yards of penalties is just abysmal.
Yeah.
We cannot survive very many football games being that heavily penalized. So we can clean those three things up and play well. I like our chances. We'll take that shot every day of the week. You tell me we control the line of scrimmage and we're not very penalized and we don't have any turnovers, I'll roll my dice and see what happens in that situation every week.
All right, Coach. I think that's all I've got unless there's anything else you'd like to add.
I appreciate it, man.
I couldn't help but notice the wristband watch. Don't have the black and gold one on this week.
No, this is my work watch today.
But I can guarantee I know when you'll have it on this week.
Oh, yeah, Friday night.
Friday nights when
That's
you
right.
take on the Rebels on Rebel Hill.
Be a good night.
I say this on a lot of coaches' shows. I will say it on this one. If you plan on getting a seat for that game, show up early. Because with the Rebels and the Black Knights in town, both schools and both set of fans will show up early. So go in, grab a seat early. If you plan on showing up to the game, do not show up at game time because I guarantee you'll probably be standing on the fences all game.
Yep, probably so.
But, Coach, it's all I've got for you. Once again, appreciate you for sitting down and talking to me.
Thank you, man.
Always a pleasure. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Billy Kaylor Show. Look forward to seeing y'all next time here on Grassroots Media.